Coming up on this episode of the KickCast, a shirt that will help get rid of back pain, have a cloud in your living room, and 3D print your own telescope. So sit back and relax. It's time for the KickCast. Hey everybody, it is time for another episode of the KickCast, the podcast where we go out and find projects and let you know if you should backtrack or sack them. I am Ktdata, one half of the show, and joining me is a man who we actually went all night long filming a movie. The one and only Drew Tyler. How you doing, Drew?
Very good. In fact, it was kind of strange. I was showing up just to get started filming a movie, and you had already done a whole day's worth of production, and I was like, hey, stick around. You could really use some extra hands. And you ended up being a production assistant for the whole night until like 5 a.m. It was awesome.
Yeah, I actually thought it was fun because that was actually the first time I've actually done a production with like a fully trained crew, and it was really cool to kind of see everything and do everything that way. I'm like, whoa.
Like, because you and I we've done a lot of guerrilla stuff or just run and gun, and so this was like an actual, we had a clapboard.
Yeah.
We had a DP. We had sticks. I mean, it was awesome.
Yeah, I finally went from that no budget to the budget. I didn't say high budget, but there was a budget.
We had a craft services table. We had a caterer. Yeah, no, it was an awesome time. We shot 4 days in a row. It was only a section of the movie. Like we were doing like everything that happened at Comic-Con for our movie, and it was super. It's going to be good looking. Yeah. It's going to be fun. I can't wait to see it.
Oh, I thought it was fun, and like I could tell which ones were your students that were the PAs. Especially when the question was like, "Do you know how to over under?" And they're like, "What?"
Because Drew hasn't got to that part yet.
Yeah, because I remember your audio guy was like, "Do you know how to over under?" I'm like, "Yeah," and he looked at me skeptically. But when I brought him back a perfectly, wound up cable, he's like, "Okay, that's good."
Good. All right. That's awesome.
All right. So if you guys have never seen the show before, first of all, welcome to episode 77.
Wow. Yay!
Wow. On there. And so before we normally go into our projects, which we usually have 3 projects, we go into the news. So on our first news item, Drew, I gotta ask, do you speak Portuguese?
I don't. The director of the film we were just in does, but I do not.
On there. So yeah, he may have been more helpful for this, but one thing we love to do is find other crowdfunding projects, and we do know there are people out there that listen to this show that may not necessarily live in the US. So for all you guys who actually live in Brazil, I don't know any of the analytics on if anybody actually lives in Brazil, listens to the show or not.
I'm sure they do.
We actually found, because of this article from CrowdCrux, right? Yeah, or Crowdfunding Insider. We found out this this platform. It's not even new. They've been around for 1.5 years, called KickCon, and it is the Brazilian crowdfunding site on there. For you guys watching the video version, you're like, oh, everything's written in Portuguese. And so their main goal is to launch in Portuguese. And what's great is right now Brazil is in a recession, and it's the biggest recession they've been at for 100 years. It's kind of crazy.
Right, because it's like this combination of politics and economics. Yeah. Like it's just not doing well.
And I know by experience that if you want to, like, even for some of the things like to get clearance to provide a medical device in Brazil, you essentially have to either bribe a politician or sue the government for them to process your application. That is why my day job company is not in Brazil right now. On there, so because they're so backlogged, that's the only way to kind of get everything working. But entrepreneurism in Brazil itself is growing on there, and KickCon actually has seen growth, about over 1,000% growth in the 1.5 years they've been in operations. What's even crazier is there are other crowdfunding sites, of course, in Brazil. One of them, their closest competitor, has been doing this for 5 years, and they launch 4 times as many projects.
The competitor or KickCon?
KickCon.
So they are 1.5 years old, and they have done 4 times the number of projects. Wow.
I mean, it's nuts.
That's what we call kicking butt and taking names.
Yeah, and you can see
KickCon butt.
Yeah, there are like some pretty cool projects on here. I can't understand a lick of anything as I don't speak Portuguese on there, but these look like pretty cool projects. They got video games, they have TV shows, they have documentaries, they have books going on, and I don't know if since I can't read any of these, I don't know. They might even have like
that one with the lion that you were just looking at. That's probably just like, we'd like to grill up a lion in the backyard. If you could just fund us, we're going to purchase a lion.
Yes, we know the country is in desperate, dire need, so this is how we're gonna feed ourselves.
I want to look at some more of those and see if I can't find some other ideas. It's like a bad lip reading. I just want to pretend I know what these things are saying.
Yeah. But if you're in Brazil and you're looking for a crowdfunding platform, because I don't think Kickstarter is there yet, that is a place you want to do, and they're still planning for the future. Because right now it's reward-based crowdfunding, but they're also looking for equity-based crowdfunding and things in the future.
So they're exploring. Okay.
And maybe one day they might even expand out into Europe and North America, which is kind of crazy. So this, keep an eye on them. You might even see an English version someday competing against Kickstarter.
Yeah, it sounds like they're doing very well. Somebody is business-minded behind that one.
Yep. All right, so for our next story of the day on there, Kickstarter Incorporated is no more.
Kickstarter Inc. has moved on.
They are now Kickstarter PBC, which stands for Public Benefit Corporation. So they didn't just pack up and leave on there. So this was really interesting. So a lot of people, including myself, when I first saw this, I'm like, oh, this is just some publicity stunt, but really it's to, help their tax situation, right? I was wrong.
Right. That's what I thought too. And then you look at the article and it's very much different.
So a public benefit corporation is actually a for-profit company. So they're still making money on there. But they have to be in their actual corporate charter. So their mission statement, they have to include a socially responsible goal in it. They also have to take public benefit into account when they're making business decisions. So they can't just be like, burn the whole land and let's build another building right here.
Right.
That's
right, which is kind of like most companies have this like beholden to the shareholders.
Yes.
We do whatever our shareholders best for them. But these guys have written now into their charter that they are beholden to society, like public good. That's good. Great.
And what's even better about this that you don't see in a lot of normal corporations right there is that they report on their social impact. Kickstarter already is pretty good about transparency on here, and this is taking it one step higher on there. Part of their creed in their actual charter, if you read it, is they're going to donate 5% of their profits after tax. So this is literally, it's going to be affecting their bottom line. 5% of it so half of that, so 2.5% are going to go to the arts and music programs, and then 2.5% of that are going to go to organizations that address systemic inequality on there. So
that's cool.
They're actually pushing back, and what's interesting about this, and which makes totally sense for Kickstarter, is because the founders, they're like, when we started this, we wanted to run the company different. We didn't want to worry about pleasing the shareholders or anything. We really wanted to help change the world. So by doing this, it actually helps them change the world, which I think is an awesome thing on there. And what's even cooler was all their investors, all their shareholders, everybody unanimously voted for
this was the way to go.
That's great. I don't know if this really makes good business sense for a lot of people, as there's like, what is it, 0.1%?
0.01 that actually PBCs
out there in the world. So I don't know if it makes good financial sense, but they're kind of sticking to the morals and saying, hey, we want to be more socially responsible as a company. So what it means to end users, probably nothing.
Right, but I think it's still very cool, very transparent, and very social. I think there's a lot of industries that could probably do a better job at looking into this and saying, we're here for the betterment of social good, and that's who we're going to serve. Like, I don't know, like the news industry, can they turn themselves into PBCs?
Yes, please.
Couldn't they do such a better job if they knew that they were like obligated to do? I mean, they know that like in this journalistic creed way, but there's still bottom line that's getting out there.
Yeah,
I love what Kickstarter have done. I fully support them.
And I think by them doing this, it also represents what they want to, as a community, what they want the community to represent too. They want to help projects that not only are innovative and stuff, but help humankind in some way, which a lot of projects you see on Kickstarter they're some way enhancing our lives. Because keep in mind, the category, aside from video games and tech projects, or movies and arts. Those are the next big categories. So it totally makes sense on what they want to do for that. So
very cool.
So good on you, Kickstarter. And if you own a company, think about switching to a PBC.
I learned something tonight.
All right. That's what's crazy. You're the teacher. You're supposed
I
to
know.
like be all knowing, right?
Well, now I am.
All right. So for our first project of the night, Drew, I think you know this, and you probably have colleagues. I don't think you have this problem because you're spry and
I don't know about
springy
that,
and
man.
stuff.
I don't know about that.
But I have like bad lower back problems.
I
On
think
there.
anybody that's over like in their past their 20s has bad lower back
But
problems.
I'm in my 20s. I'm not
Oh,
even
right.
past them.
I'm double that. Yeah, no, I do. I feel back pain.
So like,
What's the solution?
So I get a lot of lower back pains. I mean, that was the whole reason I used to sit on an exercise ball. So if you ever saw me bouncing during an episode, that's why.
Right.
I've converted to a standing desk on there, but I've always had bad back pains, and I think maybe because I'm always in a chair. I mean, you're in school, you're sitting in a desk. Switch that with a desk job, you're still at a desk sitting down on there. So our first project of the night is actually called True Posture, and what True Posture is a t-shirt or a shirt that's designed to correct your bad posture and back pain. The way it does this is there are sensors on the back of the shirt that can detect if your spine is in or out of alignment. And so if your spine is actually out of alignment, it will vibrate in the exact spot. Not just the whole thing. It will vibrate in the exact spot that your spine is out of alignment so you can adjust on there.
Wow, I would feel that while this might be helpful, I still have like this fear that I would like lean over and it would just start like, like I lean in to look closer and it'd be like, hold on, I gotta stay. No, I like it. I like this idea.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great. It's, kind of one of those compression-like shirts on there. And you don't really need a smartphone to do it. It will buzz for you. But if you do have a smartphone, you can actually in real time see where your spine's out of alignment. Because when you first get it, you set it, and they show you how to show you that you're in your correct posture on there, and that's your baseline. And if you deviate from the baseline, it will notify you, and you can tell on there. And the whole idea is not to wear this everywhere on there. The whole idea is to wear this enough where your body just automatically will stand in the correct position, even without the shirt.
Because you're training yourself.
Yeah, you're essentially training yourself on there, which is great on there. And they're even like working on getting this integrated with kind of all the fitness apps and stuff because the more sensors you have, the more accurate you can get on calorie burn and everything. So this can actually add to that, and I love it because it's iOS, Android, and there's a Windows widget. So if you're you're working in your office on your Windows machine, you can have a widget pop up in the corner and tell you what you're going on.
Well, suck your back in, put your back shoulders out. Yeah,
I mean, because I've tried things to correct my posture, and I try my best to do it, but I catch myself cheating sometimes. I'm like, whoa, no, I gotta fix this, get it right. So I don't know, Drew. Do you think this is something that would help?
Yeah, I'm horrible at posture. Like I'm the worst posture guy. So this is an interesting way to solve it by wearing a digital shirt that that vibrates.
Ooh, maybe that's
the next thing.
Add that to that Pavlovian response.
Yeah.
So like,
No, I dig it. I think this is way cool, and I would I'll be tracking this one. I don't know that I need one myself personally, but I think they've got something here. I just gonna suffer through the slow pains.
Yeah, but you're doing it at a natural progressive rate. I'm supposed to be like climbing mountains or something right now.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, I can't get out of bed on there. But I think it's great, and I love how you can actually wear it over your normal clothes. So it's not because I think part of the problem is I'm always in different locations on there, and different locations mean you respond to your situation differently. So I could wear this to work and train myself to sit straight at work, and at home on there. And you can take the sensors off and of course machine wash it and stuff, because that would kind of get gross if you couldn't wash it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
On there, but for me, it's a track too, just because they're missing a couple details. Like I have no idea how long the battery life on this is, because that would really suck if it was like only 4 hours or something. I imagine it probably
for the first half of your day.
Yeah,
get the response. No, I imagine. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's a whole lot to have.
I imagine it probably lasts a full day, but You know, those are the things I want to know, and how you charge it and stuff. If you have to get some special.
I gotta plug my
batteries.
shirt in. Sorry, hold on.
Yep. Sorry, boss. I gotta put this meeting on hold.
I gotta plug myself in. That's funny.
On there. So that is the true posture on there. On to our next project. And this is really interesting because our summer has officially ended. I think it was last week was the official beginning of autumn. On there.
It's okay. I'm okay. It's okay. I like autumn. I like fall.
And so is this kind of to bring us closer to being able to tell the weather changes inside? Because let's be honest, you and I, we don't do that. Well, at least I know I don't do the outside thing that often.
No, you don't. No, I think I only do it between buildings when I'm walking from one class to the other. I don't camp much. I don't really like.
Yeah, and you don't have a window in your office.
I do take walks every week at least. And you're right, I don't have a window in my office.
So like,
but I take walks.
How in the world do you tell what the weather is outside?
Well, this is the project that I think I'm digging for this round, and it is something called the Tempescope. It's a box of rain for your living room, your bedroom, or wherever it is. It's like a visual representation of what the weather is in any area, but you can use it for your area. So you wake up in the morning and you look at this beautiful box that's just kind of like a plexiglass square, almost like a rectangle cube. And if it's raining, you'll see raindrops dropping. If it's cloudy, it builds a cloud inside of the box. If it's sunny, you'll see a nice light happening there. If it's storming, it actually will produce not lightning, but lightning, like flashing lights, right? Flashing lights. So for me, as much as I love to know like what the weather forecast is, and you can set this to be like, what's the weather going to be tomorrow? And I'll just show you, like you can look at it and it'll be like, oh, it looks like this tomorrow. It also will, you can set it to somebody else's location. So you could say, this is where grandma and grandpa are, and this is what the weather's like there. So you just glance at it and you're like, oh, they're in a rainstorm. I like that well enough.
I figured you just set it to Hawaii or something.
Yeah, exactly. I love the clouds. I love the idea of having a cloud in a box in my front room, and I would probably set it and leave it on clouds all the time. I wouldn't even want, don't worry about telling me the temperature. I'll look out the window, but I want to see clouds in my room. That's what I love about this one. I'm cheap. Easy.
Yeah, I mean, I love this idea, and you know what's funny about it? I was looking at one of these pictures. This picture right here. Like, that door looks like your office door.
Somebody put it in my office. It really does. Like little deadbolts and oh wow, that does look like an office.
Actually, you should get a peephole too, because do you have a peephole in your door?
Oh, that'd make things a lot easier.
Yeah,
then I could
students knock and you're like, oh, I don't want to talk to them.
Yeah, half the time they don't even know I'm there. That's perfect. So I love this. This is a Tempescope. For me, it's a back because I want a cloud in my room. Yes, it does all kinds of other things, but I want a cloud in my room.
Do you know what's funny is I think I saw a DIY version of this somewhere, but it requires you to know how to solder and do an Arduino, and did not look as nice as this though.
Okay, this one does look really nice.
And because I don't think it like rained.
What am I gonna Google? DIY cloud in a box?
It was like a.
That's the part I want.
It was like an Arduino wind machine, indoor wind machine. Weather machine or something like that. But I love this polish. How big is this thing? It's it's in metric. Us Americans aren't smart enough to do metric.
Yeah, this is out of Tokyo, Japan. I can't even find it. I don't know.
365 millimeters.
Wow.
I have no idea. Wow. Yay for being American. And the irony is I used to be able to do this.
In the video, though, it looks like it's about
14 inches, so it's a little
14, about a foot. 14 inches.
That is a great size because I was a little worried it was going to be small, but I like this. And is it Bluetooth or is it Wi-Fi?
It has Wi-Fi, if I remember right.
I mean, I love this. I love the idea, and I love the lightning too, because that is so cool.
Just to put it in your room, just have like
on there, and like
I dig it.
Yeah, I totally dig this. I totally want one of these too. This one is, let's see, what is it? 2016 is their first deliverables on there. Yeah, honestly, I would. This one's a back for me on there because I mean it's elegantly designed. I mean, you're a person who appreciates design
It's good
on
and
there,
pretty.
and
It's
it
certainly
looks
pretty.
perfect, instead of having wires everywhere and stuff. And
Right, because when I make my own, it's going to be like a fish. It's going to be a fishbowl upside down with some
gaff
sort of
tape holding it
contraption.
together.
Yeah. It's not going to be pretty at all, but
Yeah.
it'll have a cloud. Yeah, it's a back for me. I love this. They do have a long ways to go. They're looking for nearly 400,000 US dollars, and they're about close to 80. They've got over a month left.
Mhm.
So yeah, and actually they've raised that 80
in less than a day. So
yeah,
that's a good sign. And
that is
like,
good.
yeah, and I like this. They have a pretty good timeline too, looking at it, and I like how they've broken down the pie chart to show you where all the money's going.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
nice.
nothing's going into a taco fund on there. Usually, if there's a taco fund,
you'll back that just to help them out.
Just to help the taco fund.
Please put all my money into the taco part of your fund.
That's
now I'm excited about this one.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
Man, I'm just giving people ideas on how to take money from me. It's like put limited edition on there.
Limited edition taco fund.
Have a taco fund.
You could. This guy over here will fund your project up to like $300-400 if it says taco fund and limited edition. Yes. That's a key to everybody.
Yes. Taco fund will get me every time. All right, so for speaking of DIY, I think you'll like this project right here. Actually, wasn't it 2 days ago that we just barely had the super moon with the blood moon and everything going on there? So people are probably out there using the telescopes and everything and trying to take pictures of it, right?
Yes, tons of people. In fact, on my whole Facebook feed, I saw like one person. Tom Allen was the only one that got like a decent shot because of our clouds.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Plus, Tom is like amazingly. He's an amazing like photographer too. So
yes.
On there. But what I've discovered, because I have friends who like are big into astronomy and stuff, and they have telescope kits. They're kind of pricey, and to get like camera kits and stuff for it, it's even pricier on there. Like just to be able to do that. So, how do you feel about 3D printing one? Eh?
3D printing a telescope?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's our final project of the night is the PiKon.
Oh, interesting name. I like that. PiKon.
And you people may have heard of it because what it was kind of like they put it together. A university put it together as kind of more of a proof of concept, but when people started seeing it and the images and stuff, so people started asking about it, so they decided to kind of go from that duct tape phase into a fully
let's try this
thing. So the PiKon is a do-it-yourself 3D printed telescope that uses a Raspberry Pi to actually take your picture. So you don't even need to figure out how to change your to adapt your current camera or anything to fit into it on there. And unfortunately, the one thing is they didn't put a lot of details into their Indiegogo page on here.
Right. It's just kind of like, we've done this. We want to make sure everyone else can do it. So get the files.
But what's great about this is they have multiple levels. And one of the levels is to get the STL file so you can actually print your own on there. Or they'll give you, there's kits where they'll provide the optics too. Because the way it works is that actually is a Newtonian refracting telescope. So if you've ever heard the story about Galileo and how he made his first telescope, it's sort of like that.
Okay.
On there. But the whole idea was to use as many 3D printed components as they could, and then make sure the lens and mirrors and everything are easy to get on there. And actually, I shouldn't say they're like Galileo's telescopes on there. This uses a mirror to kind of reflect it on there. And then so it's kind of like your normal telescopes that you see people have on tripods and stuff, except instead of having an eyepiece at the end, they've put a Raspberry Pi camera IR sensor at the end of it. So that's where the image is projected to right onto that sensor on there. And then so it's linked to your Raspberry Pi, and then that takes the picture of your night sky. And according to them, it's you get about a 160x magnification, which is pretty good. When you're taking pictures out into space, because think about how far things are.
Right. Yeah, that's not bad at all.
On there, and it's a 5 megapixel picture, and I actually have. So this is the picture that got everybody interested. Can you believe that was from a homemade telescope?
That is impressive.
Yeah, that is an impressive shot. It has some limitations that you would run into normal telescopes because it is still a telescope on there. But I just love this, DIY idea of building your own telescope, like some of the earliest astronomers and scientists out there did on there, and using a Raspberry Pi to actually take pictures of it. I mean, that is so cool.
That's like next world.
Yeah. Does it sound like something you would want to get? I mean, this would be a great learning experience for your kids because you can teach them how a telescope works.
Like a little science fair project to build our own little telescope and print it out.
Yeah, because they're already, your kids already like to 3D print things, right? On there. So this is just taking it to the next level. It's like, this is a real world application. And then you teach them how to use a Raspberry Pi. Next thing you know, they know how to program. And, we've just created the next generation of makers. They're going to invent something. And then Daddy Drew can retire.
Then I can retire. This is the world I need right now. This is why I'm backing this. Yeah, I love it. I think it's a fantastic idea. What I really love about this project and why it's a back for me is because of those levels that I can support their dream by getting in at any level. It's not like you have to get one of these, you have to go far enough that our reward makes sense, but they've broken it down into STL files and t-shirts and the other things that just kind of help them get closer to their goal.
If you already have your Raspberry Pi, there's a level you can get, so you can just pop your own.
Don't need a Pi.
Yeah.
It's a Pi free zone. It's a la carte.
Yeah, all the way to a fully built one on there, and they'll make it for you.
Oh wow! See, that's what I love about this one. So this is definitely a back for me.
And one last thing, because I know there's some telescope fanatic out there saying, "How do you mount this to a stand?" It uses your standard tripod mount stands on there, so they've tried to make it fully accessible, and I think it's a great idea, and it's pretty low cost because I think for just the STL files is 100 British sterling, which is, I don't know, 100 pounds into dollars is like $200 or something, $151. So that is actually fairly cheap because I think one of the decent level telescopes are like $200-300 already, and that can't take a picture. You have to stick your smartphone.
Right. You still have to add to that. Yeah.
So that is so this one's a back for me. I love the whole idea of it.
Yeah, it's totally diggable. I'll back this one.
All right. So for our final project of the night is our Suck of the Week. Man,
I love these.
Who needs sound effects when I can make my own, right? On that. So our final project of the night is called MTG for Everyone. So for those who do not know what MTG usually stands for, it stands for Magic the Gathering.
Yes, Magic the Gathering.
Okay, so this project wants to raise $250. And I'll read you the description as that's all there's on here. Hi, as a player of Magic the Gathering, I am irked by the influx of too many newer card games. I intend
too many newer card games.
I don't even know what this word is, but I kind of figured it. I intend to proselytize.
And that sounds like preach it and share it.
Yeah, players of other collectible card games by offering them a free booster draft. I will go to the local junior college where I know there are quite a few players and recruit them into a tournament.
Oh.
It will be a standard 8-person draft tournament with first, second, and third place receiving 6, 4, or 2 packs respectively. As a bonus, each player will also be getting a pack of card sleeves to psychologically tie them to the cards. This must be important if they need to be protected. I think it should be as they need to be protected. Before the tournament starts, all players will be given a 5 to 25-minute introduction to the game, given by myself and 2 other players, one of whom is a DCI judge, which is kind of like official tournament judge, while the other one is a rules advisor. All reward cards will be picked from a pool me and my friends have collected over the years. Risks and challenges. The only challenge I see to this project working is not finding enough players. I will overcome this by offering any leftover spots to some non-card game players. I have a lot of problems with this. First of all, Magic the Gathering has 20 million players worldwide as of 2015.
That's a lot.
It's really hard not to find a Magic the Gathering player. And as a person who frequents card shops like weekly, as in Like
Right.
weekly,
Often.
as in even at Comic-Con, I went and helped my friendly local game store, run their booth on there. I show up often. There's always somebody playing Magic. You'll find Magic players at card shops. Like, that is still the number one seller, is Magic on there. It's been around for 20 years now, I think, ish, on there, and people still play it. I've seen, and it's people of all ages. I've seen little kids play it. I've seen older kids play it. So if you're having hard time finding people to play, I think you're looking at the wrong spots. And also, as a person who plays a game that is less popular, I don't appreciate you trying to poach players to your already number one, money maker in the world. Like, I think the way it goes, it's Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, or let's see, it's Magic that's number one, and then Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh are the next top two most played card games, on there. And so what you're trying to do is actually cannibalize other communities, which already respectively have a smaller player base already, which to me, that doesn't make sense at all. Why does it have to be a zero-sum game? Why don't you actually try to recruit those non-card game players into Magic? Because that makes more sense. And then what doesn't make sense is like some of these pledge levels right here. $5 for one basic land from a various sets on there. I think you've miscalculated how much it takes to ship something, as I think what is a basic land's probably like a quarter to $2 at most on there. But then you put on your hard case, which is like another $2 right there. Then your shipping and stuff, where you're only making like $1 off of this. And is that really enough to go buy your booster packs and everything?
We're missing a few things here.
Yeah, and I just don't get why you have why there's such a need to kind of recruit more players, as I know it's not that hard to find Magic players. Like, every convention I go to, and I go to a lot of conventions, other than CES, I see people playing Magic.
That's true. Yeah, this is an interesting little sack of the week. I'll tell you what I do like is that he has a modest goal. He's trying to pull off a tournament, and his modest goal is $250. Now, at the same level, he probably could have taken this to his junior college, put some flyers up around the different areas in town, and got like a $10 entry for 25 people, or you know what I mean? Like, he could have come up with $250 another way and really saved a lot of effort. So that's, with that being said, I think he just needs to keep looking in different places.
And I think he needs, and even the project layout is a little more kind of crazy too, because even under his risks and challenges, can I say that the way you filled out this Kickstarter project is not really that convincing? So I'm having a hard time seeing how you're going to be convincing players who may have played Magic in the past, or players who are not interested in Magic whatsoever, how you're going to actually sway them.
Right.
And that's going to be the crux of it, because that's your whole idea, right? To sway people back to Magic or into the world of Magic. But you're not convincing me to give you money, so see the problem there?
Gotta be convincing. Yeah, that's a good sack. And there were a few others I saw that were interesting, but that one was my favorite for this week.
Yeah, on there. All right, so that is actually the end of the show today. We apologize for anybody who tried watching live. Apparently, we're having internet issues or server issues or some kind of issues. Maybe it may be mental issues with me.
It could also be mental issues. Yes. Sorry about that.
But we will have the recorded episode out very, very quickly. Usually, it's the day after on there. And quick reminder to everybody: Kickstarter Film Fest will be happening on October 15th on there. So make sure you guys go check it out. If you are going to the Salt Lake one, make sure you register, because one of the screenings is already sold out.
Yes. Come see us. We'll be there. Yep. Probably, hopefully, the 9 o'clock screening to watch some of those films. I'm excited to see what's happening. And that's shortly after our next show, right?
Yes, that will be actually 2 days out after our show, which is October 13th, 2015. And believe me, I will have everything working and fixed by then, so you'll be able to see us on there. If you have any ideas for Sacks of the Weeks, for projects, for news stories on there, I'm always looking for news stories. Send us an email at kickcast@ktdata.net, or shoot us a line at Facebook, facebook.com/kickcast, or tweet us at Night20 for that beautiful man there, at KTData for me, and at KickCast for the show on there. If you see any of these projects you want to check, hey, if you want to donate the $248 this guy needs to do his Magic Draft, head on over to kickcast.net for the show notes, and I'll have links to all of it there.
You can make his day. You totally make his day. He still wouldn't have anybody to join his tournament, but he would have a Kickstarter funded.
Yep. All right, Drew, do you have anything else to plug before we go?
Oh no, I'm good. I'm excited to see our movie, the Comic Con, come together. We're going to be putting together a trailer to seek financing, but I'm not sure how shareable. But as soon as I get something there, I just want to show just how much fun we had. Looking forward to that.
So yeah, whenever that comes out, you guys should check it out because I may make a cameo somewhere.
Yeah, the KT cameo.
All right, guys. Hope you guys enjoy the show, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Good night.
Bye.